Well, hello and welcome back to the Andrew Eborn Show with me, Andrew Eborn. Well, here on the show, we like to bring the most inspirational stories from around the world. Well, today is going to be no exception. We have a 47-year-old father of three who has now hit the #1 spot in the USA, an overnight sensation after only 36 years of trying. He went from the construction site to Buckingham Palace to the top of the USA charts. He's a London-born singer-songwriter, Michael Armstrong. He's been enjoying great success in the US charts with his track, Each Other's Eyes, taken from his new album, Ojai. Incredible rise to fame. And we're going to have a little listen to the video now.
I was lost in the night until I found your sunrise. The light from your soul transcends space and time. I look through your window and I'm invited inside. You and I in each other's eyes.
Well, I'm delighted to be joined by none other than Michael Armstrong himself. How are you doing, Michael?
I'm pretty damn good, actually, Andrew. Yeah, as after that introduction, I think you, anyone in my position would be pretty cheerful.
Well, I'll tell you what, pretty cheerful though. There was some pretty fine dad dancing in that video.
Yeah, that was filmed in my studio. The album was recorded mostly in my studio during lockdown, and I needed to make some videos because I figured that track was going to be a single. And I couldn't go outside, so I just kind of cleared my studio, and I thought, well, what am I going to do? So I just decided I would sing the song and do lots of kind of changing my costume, and then I thought I'd try and cut it all together. And I didn't even realise I was dancing. I was just kind of being silly. And once I got all the different takes, I then started to edit it on my computer. And my children came in to see what I was doing and were absolutely horrified by what they saw. They said, you are joking, this is not a real video. And I was saying to them, don't worry, once I've finished it and I've kind of made all the little edits and things and moved in and out, it's going to look really good. And they were just going, you know, you're no father of ours.
Well, we love it.
And equally well, my wife was just as appalled as well. But I've proved them wrong, I think.
Oh, are you certainly? Well, you're ahead of Elton John and Billie Eilish. I mean, you're hot on the heels of Ed Sheeran.
Elton who?
Oh, well, exactly. That's on the heel. That's showbiz. I love it. He should hire some great PR people. I know some. I'll recommend him. All sounds good. But hot on the heels of Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber. But what's particularly remarkable, Michael, apart from having come on the Andrew Eborn Show beforehand, which is obviously the key to your success, what I love about it is that all of this was down to you. You're not signed to a label. All of this is basically self-funded. You've done it without the backing of any record label. How on earth did you do that?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I've been hard at it for many, many years, as you know, like in your introduction, an overnight success after 35 years of trying. That just about sums it up. But yeah, 10 years ago, when I first met my manager Lisa and we were planning out my kind of debut album, a lot of people were saying to me that my music would work in America. They thought it had a real American sound about it, which is unsurprising because I've got a lot of influences from over there. And so one weekend I thought I would make a list of American DJs that I could send my music to. And I got up on a Saturday morning and I pulled up the map of America, and 6 months later, I'd finally completed it. I didn't realise how big America was. I was going state by state and making email addresses of radio stations, and it went on and on and on and on. And I'm one of these people, once I set my mind about something, I really won't give up. And so I made this list of American DJs' emails, and I've been sending stuff out to all those lists ever since. And occasionally, when I've had an album out and I've released a single, I've had someone from Wyoming or Hawaii say that they're playing it, and that's very nice. But this time, when that single Each Other's Eyes went out, I got an email from a guy in New York who was really buzzing about the single and said he passed it on to a few people. And yeah, before I knew it, I was in contact with someone who does like a promotions job over in America, and I couldn't afford to hire him, but he was so confident about the song doing well that he said, well, let me just take care of it. And he was right. I mean, here we are sitting at #1 in the indie music charts. So I guess it's about. I think it's a story of making the most of your opportunities and creating luck. You know, it's all about luck, but you've got to create your own luck sometimes. And I guess me sitting down for 6 months, 10 years ago, making a list of emails has paid off a decade later.
I know you're absolutely right, Mike, and it is that sort of inspirational tale. I mean, a lot of the people who come on the show, on musicians, they sort of turn around, they come from musical families. Your family wasn't particularly musical, was it?
No, there's no musicians in my family or singers or anything like that. But my parents loved music. Mum and dad had a great record collection, and so there was always music on in the house and in the car. So yeah, and my mum and dad have been so supportive of me. I mean, they bought me my first guitar and my first instruments. My dad was buying me recording equipment when it was my birthday because I was always a kind of studio geek. And yeah, one of the most rewarding things about this success in America is that my mum and dad are still here to see it, and they're so proud of me, as are so many of the other people around me who have had to suffer my artistic tendencies all these years.
But it is very difficult because, I mean, and you've been through a lot with your family. We spoke about this the last time you were on the show. I mean, your parents will be watching this now. What would you like to say to them?
Hello, Mum. No. Oh, no, I mean, I don't need to, you know, my mum and dad know what I think of them, but, you know, I love them very much. In fact, the song that I'm going to play for you is from the current album, Ojai. It was the first single, Matters of Heart, and it's a song I wrote for my mum and dad. It's essentially a song about a young couple growing up and the trials and tribulations of life, but sticking it together no matter what, because you're stronger together as a couple. And the song says the only thing that matters is the heart, and I truly believe that.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And it's that sort of encouragement with a youngster, a young 15-year-old entered a certain competition at Pebble Mill at 1. Tell me how that came about.
That was yeah. I mean, I was 15. I was at school at Rutlish High School, and my music teacher at the time, Mr. Ellis, encouraged me to. I was writing songs then, obviously, and the music teacher knew it well, and he encouraged me to send a song into the Pebble Mill at 1 songwriting contest, which, for those who don't know, it was like the forerunner of daytime TV. It's kind of like This Morning is now. And I think it was a Christmas song, if I remember rightly. And basically, I sent the song in, didn't hear anything for a couple of months, and then I got notified that I'd come second, which I thought was fantastic, you know. But my only reward for coming second was like my name come up in ticker tape across the bottom of the screen. And the guy who won was this guy from Manchester. And it was a good song, if I remember rightly, but I didn't think anything of it. And it wasn't until, I guess 20 years later that I was sitting on a beach on a family holiday, and I'd bought Gary Barlow's autobiography. And I was sitting there reading it, and he mentions in chapter 3 how his first big break came when he won the Pebble Mill at 1 songwriting competition.
So glorious.
And yeah, I hadn't thought about it. I'd forgotten that it ever existed, and I kind of shot up and out of my deck chair, and I thought, geez, he was the guy from Manchester. And of course I checked the dates and everything, and sure enough, I was beaten by Gary Barlow. So now I'm beating him. So
I know that you could. I hope, Michael, that you've knocked on his door and told him that all these years later you're now beating him in the charts.
Oh, of course, yes. I bombarded the man with chart news.
Well, I love the chart news. What I also like, you need a lot of chutzpah in this business, and perhaps the best example of your cheeky nature, boldness and persistence came in 2012, backstage at the Queen's Jubilee. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that was an incredible weekend. I was at the Queen's Jubilee concert at Buckingham Palace with so many, you know, just about every single star in the world. And I was there helping Lisa, my manager, do some work with Cliff Richard. And all the kind of celebrities were just mingling around each other. When you're working with Cliff, everyone's there. So I was there with Paul McCartney and Elton John, Gary Barlow, Robbie Williams, Stevie Wonder, Tom Jones, just everyone you could possibly think of. And they're all really lovely. But for me, Paul McCartney is the reason that I write songs and play music. He has been my hero since a very young boy. And I got on really well with him. He was very kind to me. And it just so happened that McCartney headlined the event as he does at these things, and the final song he played on the night was Obla Di Obla Da. And as he went into the track, all the stars of the day walked out from the side of the stage at Buckingham Palace, either side, to join him on the song, the chorus. And so he's playing it, and out walks Gary Barlow and Stevie Wonder and Tom Jones, all these people I mentioned. And I'm standing backstage, and the last people onto the stage were the Military Wives Choir. And they were all dressed in black, and I had a black suit on, and I just thought I'd go for it. I'm not sure what overtook me, some moment of madness, but I joined the Military Wives Choir, and I walked onto Buckingham Palace stage with them, and I sang Obla Di Obla Da with my hero Paul McCartney and just about every other luminary of the music business, and it was a wonderful moment until the song finished, and I thought that maybe MI6 or something were going to come and drag me off, and before I knew it, I was forced into a lineup, and I was introduced to the Queen as one of the military wives.
I love it. It's got to be brilliant. And you had, I think, in your pocket, you had something you wanted for Paul McCartney to sign, didn't you?
I did, yes. Yeah, I did. I think I was carrying, I believe I had the Abbey Road. I think I had the CD, Abbey Road CD in my pocket, and I never got in to sign it. It didn't feel right because... I don't know. I regret that. I wish I had.
Are you telling me, Michael, it felt right for you to go on stage with the Military Wives in front of an audience, global audience of millions, but it didn't feel right to ask Macca to sign the album? How does that happen?
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I should have asked the Queen to sign it.
It's like a banknote. It's got to be good. But a glorious, glorious memory. And within your life, you've now, because you're working with Lisa Davis, a brilliant double act. You work together. You look after all sorts of wonderful clients and make them look even more wonderful. So a real skill that you have. Tell me how that relationship came about.
Lisa, that's kind of the real turning point of my life, actually. I was introduced to Lisa through a covers band. Some people I'd known way back were in a band with Lisa, and they needed someone to help out. And I bumped into them, having not seen someone for like 10, 15 years. And so I just come along to a rehearsal, which was at Lisa's house. And I'm at Lisa's house now. So what I saw was all these gold discs that you can see behind me. And I thought, she could be very useful for me. And because I've been hawking around my CD for like 20 years by then. And so I played with the band, and I got on really well with Lisa. And I left her a CD, and it was actually her husband about 3 months later who finally got round to listening to it and said to her, "Who is this? This guy's great." And it turned out to be me. And so, that's... And I started recording my first album, which Lisa put together for me a couple of years later. And the truth of the matter is I gave myself a year to record it, and I'd given up my building company work. And after a year, I was only halfway through the album, and I ran out of money. I had no money left, and I wasn't working. And so Lisa said to me, I've been helping Lisa out on the odd job here and there, and standing in for people at TV shows, like doing rehearsals and stuff. And she was really busy, and she said, "Do you want to come and work for me for a couple of days a week? That way you can have some money and afford to feed your family and finish your album." And I did, and those couple of days a week became a full-time partnership eventually. And we haven't looked back since. We're a fantastic team. I love it to bits.
And you are indeed a fantastic team, as I say, testament to the brilliant clients that we see on our national airways, on television around the world as a result of the efforts. And they always forget that show business, there are two sides to it. There's the show side, but there is the business side. So having somebody who can act as your foil to that is really, really important when you're a self-starter, isn't it?
I think so. I think that's what sets us as a company promoting Lisa Davis Promotions now. I think that's what sets us apart from other companies, because we've been there and we've done it. We've done what the artists want, because that's what I've done. You know what I mean? And so I'm very fortunate, as is Lisa, we've been able to see things from both sides of the business completely, from writing a song to recording a song to publish to tour dates to American chart success or UK TV and radio, so we've seen it from both sides, and that's hugely advantageous for us as a company, and makes us very empathetic, I think, to to our artists.
Yeah, well, you understand the business, and we're going to get Lisa and you back on the show to talk more about that in the not too distant future. But finally then, Michael, congratulations obviously on the #1. Absolute delight. I'm genuinely thrilled. Really, really thrilled. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. After so many years, what advice would you give the young Michael Armstrong starting out in this business?
Oh, what would I give the young Michael Armstrong? Well, there's a few things I've done I'd tell him not to do, but I'm not going to go into that.
Oh, give us a couple. Give us a couple.
No, I mean, you know, I think be patient is the obvious one to say. You know, you just got to persevere. You know, there's been tough times because, you know, my desire to do what I do now and to achieve what I've achieved has eaten me up in good ways and in bad ways for decades. And now I'm an older man, I'm so much more relaxed about it, and it's kind of ironic that the success has come at this period of my life because I'm kind of laid back about it. It's almost like it's happening to someone else. And I've said this to other people. The most wonderful thing about what's happened to me literally in the last week or so is seeing the people around me, doing it for them. I kind of feel like it's happened to someone else, but you know, for Lisa, for my mum and dad, for my family, they're so proud. And you know, even people like yourselves and other people who I've spoke to have become my friends and colleagues over the years. They're genuinely chuffed for me, and that's a wonderful feeling.
Fantastic. Well, you're going to sing us out live. We did sort of hint about this, and congratulations, very brave getting you back to sing live. It's another one of your songs, Matters of Heart, which you spoke about last time you were on the show. You wrote this, as you say, for your parents. What's the full story behind it?
Well, I came up with the melody, which you're going to hear at the start, the kind of chord progression. And I just thought it was a really emotional piece of music. And the truth of the matter is I actually started to write it about my children. And I'm a bit of a soppy so-and-so. And I only wrote about a verse. And every time I tried to sing it, I cried my eyes out. It was it was kind of about me not being here anymore, you know. And I just thought, I can't continue with this because I'll never be able to perform it. And so I left it alone for a while. And then lockdown came along and my parents are in their 70s and I wasn't able to see them. And so I was thinking about them, and I revisited the song, and it flowed out like that and kind of wrote itself, to be honest.
Wrote itself, so all those royalties don't need to go to you. Is that what you're saying? Michael Armstrong, play us out with Matters of Heart.
I'll do my best. It's been a while. Out upon that new horizon, innocent but keen to wisen, up to all that life would have in store. We opened the door, and I laid me bare. I believed that we could fly. It wasn't always eye to eye, but face to face these feelings never changed. Fortune came, and I laid me bare. It'll always be forever, and together this endeavor, 'cause we fought our way from nothing at the start. And we could have done things better, but we managed it whatever, 'cause the only thing that matters is the heart. I decline no invitation, got ideas above my station. I'm afraid of growing up alone. truths never told. I lay me bare. You'll always be forever together this endeavor, 'cause we fought our way from nothing at the start, and we could have done things better, but we managed it whatever, 'cause the only thing that matters is the heart. You'll always be forever, and together this endeavor, 'cause we fought our way from nothing at the start, and we could have done things better, but we managed it whatever, 'cause the only thing that matters is the heart.
Michael Armstrong, thank you so much for being my guest. Look forward to seeing you soon, and many, many congratulations on that American #1.